Hi everyone, Miss Kush here. I miss you all so much, but I hope you're all doing well and staying inside and keeping up with your work as best as you can. So today I wanted to make this video because we are starting a new unit, Unit 4, Human Reproduction and Genetics. It's definitely my favorite unit, and I wish that we were in school for this and I could teach it to you face to face because I know you're going to have a ton of questions, but we will do what we can. So today we'll compare important places in the body where diffusion occurs and explain how nutrients and gases are exchanged between mother and fetus. So first thing I'm going to do is review a little bit about diffusion and the different places that we've talked about it so far this year. So if you remember, diffusion is the movement of molecules from high concentration to low concentration. So we've seen this in the cell membrane. We've talked about how glucose is able to diffuse, and oxygen and carbon dioxide because they are small molecules, but molecules like starch can't diffuse because they are too big to enter or leave the cell. So diffusion stops when molecules reach equilibrium, meaning they'll be even on both sides, and this process does not need ATP energy. We've also seen diffusion in the lungs with carbon dioxide and oxygen. We breathe in oxygen and it diffuses from our lungs to our blood to then go to our cells. And then we also have to breathe out carbon dioxide, so that diffuses from the blood out to the lungs for us to breathe out. Okay. We've also talked about diffusion in the small intestine. This is where our nutrients are absorbed. So your small intestine looks like this. It's about 20 feet long. But if you were to zoom in on it, it would look like this. So we've also talked a lot about how shape determines function, right? Enzymes and substrates, hormones and receptors, and then most recently antigens and antibodies. So if you were to zoom in on the small intestine, they have these structures called villi, which kind of stick out. And that actually allows more nutrients to be absorbed than if it was to just be flat. So the villi actually increase what we call surface area to be able to maximize the amount of nutrients that your body can absorb. The next place we'll talk about diffusion is the placenta. Now, if you read the articles and answered the questions, then you know that the placenta is responsible for diffusing nutrients from the mother to the baby, so the baby can grow, the fetus can grow, but the fetus also produces waste products like CO2 and other wastes that need to be removed, so the placenta is also responsible for diffusing waste from the baby to the mother. Now, this is what the placenta actually looks like. I know you're probably like, oh my god, that's gross. Yes, it kind of is. During pregnancy, the mother not only has to deliver the baby after 9 months, hopefully, but they also have to deliver the placenta after giving birth to the baby. So women only have a placenta when they're pregnant. They don't have one before and they don't have one after. If they get pregnant again, they develop a new placenta. So whatever the mother eats, those nutrients will diffuse from the mother to the fetus, and the waste that the fetus produces diffuses the opposite way from the fetus to the mother. Now, you may have wondered why pregnant women are told that they shouldn't drink or smoke. Well, the placenta is not a perfect barrier, meaning it can't keep just certain things out. So anything that the mother ingests, if it's alcohol or if they smoke cigarettes, the nicotine, the chemicals in the cigarettes will also diffuse through the placenta and potentially harm the baby. Most often the baby could be born with birth defects, smaller birth weight, or possibly be born prematurely. If you read the articles, some people actually eat the placenta as well. And if you think about it, because all the nutrients diffuse from the mother to the baby, that placenta is filled with all the nutrients. So people think that either putting it on their skin or eating it will actually help them because of all the nutrients that are inside of the placenta as well. One of the biggest things that a lot of students ask about during this unit is twins. I know everyone likes to talk about twins. So in this case, right, there's two types of twins. You can have identical twins or you can have fraternal twins. identical twins exist when there's one sperm and one egg that have been fertilized, which we'll talk about in a couple of days. And for some reason, that fertilized egg splits. In this case, they have the same placenta. So in identical twins, they share one placenta, but they have two different what's called amniotic sacs. So they develop separately, but they share a placenta. In fraternal twins, there's two different eggs fertilized by two different sperms, and the result is two babies. Now, normally a woman only releases one egg at a time per month from her ovaries, but in this case she released two, and those both eggs were fertilized, and as a result, two babies developed, but in this case they have two separate placentas. So identical twins, they share one placenta, and fraternal twins, they have two different placentas. Okay, so main takeaway from today, the placenta is where diffusion of nutrients from the mother to the baby occurs, and waste diffuses from the fetus to the mother to be excreted from the mother. But nicotine and chemicals and alcohol can also diffuse to the fetus, harming the fetus, causing different birth defects, lower birth weight, and possibly being born prematurely. Okay? I will check that assignment later on today, and I hope to hear from you all soon. And again, I hope you're doing well, and I miss you, and I will check back next week. Have a great weekend.